Joe Carter on the line, two-time World Series champion, five-time All-Star, and the host of the Joe Carter Classic. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. How are you guys doing this beautiful morning we're having here everywhere across the country?
We are terrific. We are definitely terrific. 30 years. Can you believe that it's been 30 years almost since you hit that home run, Joe?
30 years, it's very surreal, but, listening to that home run is like, I don't know if you guys like whenever you hear it, I just repeat the words so I know it word for word when Tom Cheek is saying it. So, I wonder if Torontonians, when they hear that, they just repeat exactly and follow along with Tom Cheek. But it's something that 30 years, I've never gotten tired of hearing that sound. So every time I hear it, it just brings back a lot of memories, great memories, and puts a smile on my face. And I know it does the same for everyone there in Toronto and really across Canada. It's just a moment. And, no, I can't believe it's been 30 years, but that just means I'm getting older, and I'm thankful to God that I'm still here on the earth to enjoy it.
Well, that call, it certainly it kind of unites our country. We have a text line that's always open, and as soon as we played it in before we had you, people are texting in saying that it gives them goosebumps still. They remember it. Every moment that they hear it, they get a chance to reminisce. So, I mean, you're the one at bat. You're the one at the plate during that moment. I know you probably asked this a lot, but if you walk us through what's going on in your head, knowing, the stakes of what could happen at that at bat and, rounding the bases, it's just... We just saw the Stanley Cup awarded, and we just talked to a Stanley Cup champion earlier in the show, and now we have you, a star-studded day. But it's something that not many people will get to experience. So if you can put those into words, how do you begin?
You want me to put something that's only happened 2 times in the history of the game into words?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Something that I haven't said, but at that moment, as a athlete, at least for me, and maybe this may be for half the athletes, we want to be in that position. I know I wanted to be in that position with the game on the line, because for me, that's when I seemed to concentrate the most, and I felt I built up my career and my confidence for moments like that, so it doesn't overwhelm you. Some people get there and they are afraid that, if they fail, people are going to remember them, they're going to hate them, they're going to talk about them. I was just the opposite. I was like, if I'm up at the plate, I want to be at the plate, because I'm more nervous sitting on the bench watching the other guys hit, because I would much rather be up there. And when I got to the plate, I said, hey, okay, don't worry about the moment. Didn't really seem the moment was too big for me. But it was go up there, like Cedal Gasson always told us, you go up there, you have a plan as to what you want to do. And my plan was to go up there and be patient, take until I got a strike, and then relax even more. And when Mitch threw me the fastball down and in, all I thought about was, you go back to your training. And I was looking for a breaking ball at the time, because he threw me a breaking ball the pitch before and made me look pretty bad on it. So I figured he would come back with it. But because he was a left-hander, and, pardon me for all the left-handers out there, they're not always thinking in their right mind. And he wanted to come back with the fastball, and he threw a fastball down and in. And because I had slowed everything down to a point where when he threw the fastball, all I did was react to it, kept my head down. And when I made contact and saw the ball jump off my bat, when all that leaping was because I didn't see if the ball was going to make it over the fence. I knew I hit it hard enough, but I didn't know if I hit it high enough. And to see Pete Incaviglia kind of stop and kind of turn around, and then I knew it was out, and the roar of the crowd, it was deafening. I've never heard anything like that in my life. It has just been that deafening where you couldn't even hear, nothing. And my thought was, Joe touched all the bases as I was jumping up and down, because my mother, she confidently calls me Jumping. She says she calls me a kangaroo. She says Jumping Joe, and that's where all that came from. When I had the foundation there in Toronto when I was playing, it was Jumping with Joe, and every time we won a championship, I was always jumping. So it was a moment that I'll never forget, and a lot of Torontonians never forget. And like I tell everybody, I've been milking that home run for 30 years now.
Not that I expect the details to be lost because it's such an incredible moment, but like they're still so vivid for you. Remembering the pitch sequence, how you felt, names and faces and reactions and sounds. I'm wondering though about like the gear. Like you mentioned the ball, you mentioned the bat. Do you have keepsakes from that moment? Are there things that are still in a safety deposit box somewhere?
Where do you live so we can come
no,
visit
let's not dox them. Let's not have anyone knocking on the door. But Joe, like, what do you keep, and what can you just roll out of bed and look at to remind yourself of these moments? Do you still have keepsakes and memorabilia from that day, from that moment, from that run, from that celebration?
No, I gave them all away. I didn't want them anymore, so I just took them to the trash and dumped all of them.
Well, I'll have to go to that trash dump and find it all myself.
Can we locate the dumpster?
No. Well, right now I'm sitting in my sports room and I'm looking at my jersey right now that I wore that night. So I did keep that. The bat went to the Hall of Fame. They came in, and story about that, they wanted the baseball too. And John Sullivan, rest his soul, John Sullivan passed away recently, our bullpen catcher. And when the ball hit the back wall, he was warming up, I believe, Mike Timlin, and so he got the ball. And so after the game, he presented it to me, and he said the Hall of Fame guy had come up to him and asked him, "Where's the ball? Where's the ball?" And he goes, I don't know where the ball is. But he had already given it to me, or he was saving it to give it to me after the game. And so the Hall of Fame came and asked, and they have my cleats, they have my the baseball bat where I hit the home run, but I have my jersey, and I do have the baseball. And the baseball is very safe right now. So,
Bummer.
It will not be going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, I'll know where you'll be next Wednesday. So
Yeah.
I know nobody will be there protecting the. I'm just kidding, but maybe
Joe's going to be bringing it with him
yeah,
now.
you might have to bring it.
Joe, so I mentioned off the top, Joe Carter Classic newcomer. Myself and Brent Gunning will be hosting live on Wednesday morning. What should we expect? Maybe Gunner's been there. I haven't, though, as a newcomer. What should I know before I step onto Glen Abbey and experience a Joe Carter Classic for the first time?
Well, if you've never been there, you're in for a treat. The biggest thing, we've got great sponsors with TD Bank, Callaway, DraftKings, AMJ Campbell, Canada Goose. You're going to see a lot of sponsors there. You're going to see a lot of great athletes. We got, and now that COVID has kind of opened up, the country's opened back up and everything. You've got Dan Marino coming back. Sean Green is going to be playing. Jose Bautista, Devon White, Roger Clemens. Some new people. You got Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare from the Super Bowl champ Kansas City Chiefs, where I live at. And a few more football players, but it is going to be a lot of fun. The one thing I've always done throughout my career is I'm a very tough competitor. I love to compete. I love to win. But the biggest thing is I love to have fun. And that's what I wanted to surround myself when I had a golf tournament, when we took this 14 years ago, is to have a golf tournament where we're going to have fun. And the guys I try to bring in, the Dion Phaneufs, the Mike Krushelinski, all these guys, these are people persons. And so when you see these guys or when you talk to them, they are absolutely like me. And so you're going to see a lot of fun and a lot of athletes going around and being very personable. And the thing about these athletes, they love their gifts, but they love to give back. And the whole thing that we're doing this for is to benefit the Children's Aid Foundation there in Toronto.
We have the pleasure of speaking with Joe Carter, former MLB first baseman, outfielder, two-time World Series champ, and host of the Joe Carter Classic, which we will be at next week live. So how's your golf game? You're hitting the links. What's your dream foursome? We got to get the scouting report on Joe Carter, the golfer.
No, I have been playing a lot of golf. Like you say, I'm very competitive. For my 62nd birthday, I turned my backyard. I had a tennis court back there and basketball court, but now that the kids are out of the house, my wife and I have been an empty nester since really 2011. And so the tennis court was not being used. It was just to blow the leaves. It was to catch all the leaves, and I would just blow them off. I'm saying, you know what, I'm going to do something else. So I put a golf court back there. So I've got a chipping area back there with 6 holes. I've got a sand trap. We got a fire pit, a little basketball court. So, my golf game is very good right now. I've been playing quite a bit, played in a tournament yesterday, and we came in second. We shot, 16 under.
Oh, my
and
God.
Then we had a playoff. We had a playoff for first place, and we ended up tying we had chip-offs and everything. It took us like another 30 minutes, and we were just exhausted. So we said, we'll just split the prize money. So that was it. But no, I play a lot of competitive golf, and the guys know. First of all, if you have a golf tournament, you got to be able to play golf.
That's right.
So, yeah. So right now, my handicap's at a 2 to 3 is where it's at right now. So, no, I love to play, and I will have some fun.
Okay, so who's like one golfer we should look out for? Not that we'll be like traveling around and following a group around, but Jose Cruz Jr. was at a tournament we were at last year.
Super competitive.
He had like a target on his back. He was super competitive. He was ready to go. Is there someone on the guest list who's really, really good that we should watch out for?
Well, that's the thing. There are a lot of good golfers out there. Damon Allen, the Grey Cup champion. I mean, Damon is a very good golfer. Sterling Sharp. Sterling wins everywhere he goes. He's the guy's 55 years old or whatever, but he hits the ball 9 miles. So he's always in contention. Let's see, you got Damon, you got Sterling. Oh, and we have a new guy coming in. Call him Freddie Mac, Fred McCrary, who played for the Atlanta Falcons and then the New England Patriots, running back. And this is his first year, so I talked to him yesterday, and he's excited, and he is a lefty and plays very good. So we've got some very good golfers out there, and it's going to be a very competitive event. We have the Skins game on Tuesday, and then the regular scramble on Wednesday. So it'll be a chance to take some bragging rights, and hopefully I'll be there at the top.
I don't doubt it. Seems like you just simply could be good at anything you try your hand at. So next Wednesday, the 14th annual Joe Carter Classic that will be live from Glen Abbey from 6 to 10 a.m. on our show. So I know this is obviously the big thing that you come back for Toronto to celebrate, but what are some other of your favorite things when you come back to Toronto? You get the opportunity to meet with people that you haven't seen in a while, the city, the atmosphere, the Blue Jays game, I'm sure would be something up on top of that list. But your time when you do get to come back to Toronto, what do you enjoy most?
Well, I enjoy the people the most. The 7 years I spent there were 7 of the best years of my life. And my family loved it there. We had a lot of great friends. We still have a lot of great friends there. And now those friends are, the kids that they're growing up, they're getting married. And you're like, wow, we're really getting old. But coming to Toronto it gives me a renewed sense of what life is all about. I'm walking the streets. And here's the good thing is, I walk the streets whenever I'm in Toronto, and very rarely do I get recognized anymore. And to me, that's great, because they're going about their business. And one of the first places I always stop when I come to Toronto is Mr. Aaron Barbarian Steakhouse.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is that is the best steak. And living in Kansas, we've got great steaks here. But Barbarian Steakhouse, it compares with the best steaks here in Kansas. So I'll always go by and see that. That's my hot spot is Barbarian Steakhouse. But to go out and just see the people just enjoy the weather because it is such a great time there in Toronto, and I'm always looking forward to getting back there.